All right, let's get right into it. We're not wasting any time today because there's been a seismic shift in the market. We're talking about gold, we're talking about Bitcoin, and a massive movement of capital that is happening as we speak.
Seriously, you need to pay attention to this. If you are holding any gold, any silver, or Bitcoin, this is not just another Tuesday. While everyone else was distracted, the big institutional players just made a move, and it's changing the entire game.
So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Is what's happening right now a massive threat to your portfolio, or is it the best buying opportunity we've seen all year? Look, moves like this are designed to shake out the weak hands, the folks who panic sell, while creating absolute fortunes for those who see the big picture. You have to decide which side you're on. So let's break down what actually happened. This wasn't some random market dip. No, this was a direct response to the latest whispers coming from the central banks. Little hints about inflation, about interest rates, and it triggered a classic flight to safety. Now, a flight to safety is nothing new, right? When the market gets choppy, investors sell their risky stuff and buy up things they see as more stable. But, and this is the key, the definition of what's safe is being rewritten right before our very eyes. What we're seeing is this incredible decoupling. I mean, assets that have always moved in lockstep are suddenly going in completely opposite directions. Money is flooding out of traditional stocks and pouring into hard assets. We're talking physical metals and, you guessed it, digital assets like Bitcoin. The old playbook, it's being tossed out the window. And this chart, well, this tells the real story. See, when the big institutions move their money, they can't really hide it. They leave these huge footprints in the volume data. And that massive spike you see right there, that's not just a signal. That's a screaming declaration that the game has changed. This isn't your average investor panicking. This is smart money on the move. Okay, so where is all this money going? Let's start with the old guard, gold and silver. These classic safe havens are reacting to all this new volatility in the dollar with, honestly, predatory precision. If the dollar keeps looking shaky, this isn't going to be just a little pump for metals. We could be on the verge of a major breakout. And for anyone who tracks precious metals, this slide is everything right now. This is the gold to silver ratio. On average, it usually takes around 60 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. Right now, that number is way up at 85. Whenever a ratio gets stretched this far, the potential for a violent snapback, which means a huge, fast surge in silver's price, gets incredibly high. And that brings us to the other side of the coin, the new guard. Yep, we're talking about Bitcoin. For years, we've all been hearing the digital gold story. Well, guess what? That whole narrative is being put to the ultimate test, like right now. This number on your screen is probably the single most important number in the entire market today, $60,000. That is Bitcoin's line in the sand. It's the critical support level. If Bitcoin can hold this price while traditional markets are tanking, it basically confirms the entire thesis, that it's finally graduating from a risky bet to a true global hedge. Everybody is watching 60,000. And if it holds, the ripple effect is going to be massive, because a strong Bitcoin doesn't just help Bitcoin, it becomes the launch pad for the entire altcoin market. We're talking about a market that is absolutely primed for what analysts are calling a melt-up. A crazy, fast-moving surge in price driven purely by momentum. Okay, so that's a lot, I know. We've got chaos, we've got this decoupling, and we have these super important price levels for both metals and crypto. The real question is, how do you actually navigate this? How do you turn all of this volatility into a real opportunity? This right here is the biggest thing I want you to take away from all this. In times like these, volatility isn't the risk. Volatility is the opportunity. Situations like this move at lightning speed, and that window to get in at these prices, it usually slams shut long before the mainstream news even knows what's going on. So here's your game plan. It's simple. Number 1, accept that volatility is here to stay. Just expect it. Number 2, keep your eyes glued to those key levels we talked about, that gold to silver ratio and Bitcoin support. They're your guideposts. And 3, you have to commit to acting on good information before everyone else does. That is how you stay ahead of the curve. Listen, we are watching these numbers literally every hour to help you stay ahead. The market is moving fast, and so are we. If you want to be the first to know when the next big shift happens, you need to subscribe. Because in this market, the only thing riskier than making a move is doing nothing at all.